1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Almost a weekend and you don't know what to do. Or you just need something fun to listen to.
Southside Pod!
Yes, we're on the air. And the gang's all here, all things on the South Side. You're listening to the Southside Pod. Looking for the best Southside breweries. Or you might just need an awesome place to eat.
Southside Pod!
Mount Greenwood, Evergreen, Blue Island, Beverly, Payless, and Allsup too. You're tuned into the Southside Pod.
Southside Pod!
Oakland, Midlothian,
Southside Pod!
Oak Forest, Chicago Ridge, Flossmoor, and Bridgeview. You're listening to Southside Pod.
You guys ever get into barbecue?
I mean, excuse for men to get up at 4 in the morning and put wood on a thing and drink for like 11 hours.
I don't get up at 4 in the morning, but I like to smoke
Guys that
meats.
smoke things for 18 hours.
Well, I think that's crazy. 18 hours of
I
smoking.
might be
is
hungry
crazy.
18 hours from now.
You're going to start it the day before and you give
But
up your
yeah,
whole weekend.
barbecuing. Yeah.
I want to be friends with those people so I can show up like right before it's
Well, I
done.
do that.
Are you a charcoal
You want to come
guy?
over to my house? How about this? If you come over to my house this summer, I will smoke meats for you.
A brisket?
I'll do a brisket and some ribs. I'll do it.
Then
We'll
what
do
do we
it.
have to do?
Call me about
You just
45
have to
minutes.
come over and drink with me.
Call me when it's about 45 minutes from being
Oh,
done.
come on. Come over 2 hours before.
Call me
Right,
like an
2
hour
hours.
after, and then if you could wrap it up and just put it on the front porch, and I'll just pick it up.
This episode of Southside Pod brought to you proudly by Family Waterproofing Solutions. It's all about keeping water out of your basement, protecting your foundation. You heard the ad at the beginning of the show. Remember, they have that express service. Nobody does that. Nobody puts the price right on the website like Family Waterproofing Solutions. You know what you want. You see the cost right on the site. You order, you schedule on-site immediately for quick service. 24/7, give them a call, 708-330-4466. Your basement's best defense is at familydry.com. We got a pizza place with a purpose on this show today. Tim O'Brien from the Beverly Review is going to talk Papa Hops that just happened this past week. And our good friend Cramer is going to join us again from Cork and Kerry with a couple of gripes.
I want to try your ribs.
All right, we'll make some this summer.
How much for one rib?
Southside Pod at Pizza Pete's, and I have John Skopick here. How are you?
Good, I'm wonderful. How about you today?
I'm good. So I'm learning your story here, and I'm amazed. You're a guy who had a really good motivation for opening up a pizza place on the South Side, and now suddenly you have two pizza places on the South Side. We're in Frankfurt. Your first one was in Orland Park. To explain to everybody why you decided to get into pizza making.
So I'm a State Farm agent by trade. My wife's in the medical field, and our middle daughter's 22 years old, and she had was born with cerebral palsy, and worked through high school, but physicals and some the limitations she had. We knew college wasn't going to be the path for her, and she had worked at Aurelio's here in Frankfurt for almost all of high school, so we kind of thought maybe something in that realm. So a friend had reached out to me, asked me if I was still looking for a place, and that the original owner of Pizza Pete's in Orland, Jack, was retiring and moving. So we took a look at it and kind of negotiated and got into the business to kind of give Danielle some purpose and give her a place to run and stuff. So she's answering the phone usually when you order out here in Frankfurt about 80% of the time.
That sounds like what I think most dads would do. They'd be like, I got to take care of my little girl, and that's incredible. But then the fact that you turn around within a couple of years and you go, and now I'm going to open one in Frankfurt too. Like, you got Orland and Frankfurt. How did that come about?
Yeah, so Frankfurt there really was no plan to expand or do anything, but I live out here in Frankfurt, and there was a closed down pizza place that had been here prior. And then when we heard that Amazon was coming through, it was kind of one of those, all right, this might be an opportunity that's too good to pass up. So we opened Frankfurt in January of 2021, and we've been kind of rocking and rolling here ever since.
This is the Pizza Pete's Pizza. And I was like, first, I was asking you before we started, I was like, okay, well, how do you come up with the recipe? And you're like, this is an old recipe. This is something that's been around for a while.
Yeah, so Pizza Pete's been around since 1967. There were, and I'm not sure about the numbers, the history is a little foggy, but there were 6 or 7 locations here on the South Side, And for one reason or another, they all kind of shuttered in, I think, in the late 70s, early 80s, and Orland kind of flourished. And so it's been around. We haven't changed the recipe. It was always one of my favorite pizzas growing up. I grew up in Orland Park. We thought we had a solid business plan in a place that, adding some technology and things they didn't have, and some marketing, that we had the product to be really successful.
It's really good.
Well, thank
I
you very
forgot
much.
you just took it out of the oven, though.
Yeah, probably burned your face off. Sorry about that.
I definitely tried it. I did that whole thing. Like, if you watch the YouTube channel, I almost lost the cheese right on the floor here while you were talking. It's incredible. But it's really good when you get into making pizzas and you start off. You may have a recipe, but I would imagine early on, there's a lot of like trial and error, like trying to figure out how to do it. How long did it take for you as somebody basically starting cold in the business, to get it all right?
Yeah, and the old owners were awesome. Jack's daughter, Debbie Mattis, she stayed on for, I think it was almost a month, and kind of ran us through the paces in Orland of kind of how everything worked. And it's not as easy as it looks to make a really good pizza, but it's also, the repetition and doing it over and over again, and you make sure you get it right. We've had some hiccups along the way. There's been some growing pains, but we're pretty happy with the product on a daily basis.
So I always ask people that have pizza places, like how they handle, essentially in Chicago, people just take their pizza way too seriously. They're like, no, thin crust is Chicago. No, deep dish is Chicago. No, this place is better. No, this place is better. Like, how do you deal with that as a pizza owner? Do you just try to ignore it, or do you jump in the fray?
No, we like to jump in the fray. I always tell people, especially when we have friends or family or somebody comes in from out of town, I'm like, deep dish is not real Chicago pizza. That's what tourists eat. I go, we probably eat that stuff once every 3 months. And ours is what I consider like the traditional, when you think of, especially on the south side, you think of a tavern style pizza, square cut, cracker crisp crust.
Oh, it
real
definitely
thin.
has that.
It's got that crunch.
Sauce has a little sweetness to it too, which I
it's
like.
It's not crazy sweet.
No,
but
it's not a jar of
hint,
Welch's jelly sweet, but it's sweet. It's got a little bit of tinge to it.
Yeah, we got a little bit of sweet in it. It's the sauce is fantastic. We make it in house. We still do that. We still shred all our own cheese. Our cheese is a blend of 2 different mozzarellas. So we kind of have stuck to, if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality of, we're not going to change the pizza. We're not doing anything with the pizza because that's, you've been in business for 50-something years. You must be doing something right.
Yeah, exactly. What is there a favorite? Is there something that is Orland, and Frankfurt, are they basically the same style, sells the best, or is there something where like this is a pizza? Like sometimes you see people, they have a signature style. What comes rolling out of here you think the most?
Yeah, well, I think just Chicago in general is, cheese and sausage is probably our biggest seller. But one of the things that we have that's unique, and it's kind of a little known secret, but it's unbelievably amazing, is we have a pizza called the Double Decker, which is crust, your toppings, cheese, crust, sauce, toppings, cheese.
What?
Yeah.
What?
I can only eat about 2 squares.
Hold on a
of it,
second. Is this
'cause
something
it's a
that was
meal.
already part of Pizza Pete's, or is this something you came up with as a crazy brand new pizza place?
I wish I had the idea, but yeah, it's funny because I grew up in Orland Park and have been eating Pizza Pete since, almost as long as I've been alive, and I had never even heard of it, and it's kind of like one of those little secret things, but we've been.
Is it on the menu, or is it
more and
something
more,
that
it's on the, we put it on the menu now. I don't think it was originally. It was just kind of one of those
pizza
things
on top
you
of a
had to know.
pizza.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's a meal though. A small could probably feed a family of 4 because it's funny because the first time people try it, we hand them the box and it feels it's even heavier than a stuffed pizza just because there's so much to it.
That's insane. I also noticed, and I noticed this, I don't want to embarrass you, when I came walking in, like right away, You knew somebody that came walking in. You're like, I want to make sure they're getting the discount. Then you found out there was a big. Then you were like, oh, it's Monday. We give a big discount to everybody on Mondays.
Yeah, we do a 40% off Monday, and I kind of forget. I work 7 days a week, so every day is Monday for
but
me.
I see that, and I see your website as well, and the charitable organizations you give to. It seems to me like it's not like you said I'm going to stop being a State Farm agent and I'm going into the pizza business. It's kind of like you're like, this pizza business serves a purpose, and I'm not trying to get rich off the pizza business, so I'm going to take care of like family, friends, regular customers, have these discount days, give the charity. You don't see that with every business.
Yeah, and I think that's for my wife and I, that's one of the advantages, right? We feed our family and pay our bills through other businesses, so we don't take profit. Obviously it's still important.
You don't want to lose money on pizza,
yeah.
right? You don't want to be bringing home pizzas every night going, we got to eat these. Somebody's, you want it to work. Yeah.
Yeah. So profitability hasn't been as center as it would be for a lot of other small family businesses. So we've been able to give a ton back. We do almost every Tuesday, we do a pizza for a purpose, which we'll team with a local charity, and then 20% of the sales for that day goes to that charity. We donate a lot of places, and personally I spend a lot of time working with organizations and stuff. So it's kind of part of our mission, right? Is, we've been blessed in life, and to kind of carry that forward and pay that forward.
Awesome. Well, give me the locations for anybody that's never heard of you.
Oh, sure. The one in Orland Park is 14324 South LaGrange Road. That phone number is 708-349-6660. And we're sitting here in the Frankfort location, which is 19860 South Harlem Avenue in Frankfort. And that phone number is 815-806-8300.
I love that. I love that you're able to rattle it right off. You're like...
I'm surprised I didn't give out my State Farm phone number. I've been known to do that a time or two, answer the phone here, State Farm, how can I help you? And I'm like...
That's awesome. Well, John, first of all, the pizza's really good. I love the story as to why that you did it, and the fact that it's working out for you, and the fact that you're giving back to the community. It's all great stuff, and it's just awesome to hear. And I appreciate you sharing your pizza with us.
Oh, perfect. Appreciate your time. Thank you very much for coming out.
I have a confession to make. It's true, and I'm guessing you have done the same thing. Put more time into thinking about what's for dinner than preparing for your retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, I agree with you, and I want to help you out. I've got a local, experienced, down-to-earth guy who's a friend of this show. He's got a get-to-know-you approach and do the right thing values, and he's been around for over 20 years right here on the South Side. His name is Tom Walsh. He's located on the corner of 111th and Kedzie, and he's waiting for your call. In times of financial uncertainty, how can you stay on track? Call someone who's invested in your success. Reach out to Tom now, 773-779-0023, or pop in at the office right on 111th and Kedzie. Tell him we sent you. Edward Jones, Making Sense of Investing, member SIPC. We're going to spend a little bit of time in Beverly on this episode of Southside Power. We're going to hit Cork and Kerry around 106th and Western in just a moment and speak with our good friend Cramer over there and find out what's driving him nuts. But also they got a musical act coming in this weekend. A lot of stuff going on out on that patio. A guy that writes for the Beverly Review that we've also talked to a bunch of times, Tim O'Brien, joins us on the line. How are you, Tim?
I'm good, Chris. I appreciate you having me back on.
Oh, thanks for jumping on. Normally, I think football season, I want to hear from Tim O'Brien. He's covering all of the football that's going on in the local high schools. I figure in the spring, it's basketball, right? And there's other sports as well that we've chatted about here on Southside Pod. But when summer hits, I just figure you don't have anything to do. And then I see you like posting like crazy, all these awards and stuff like that. And I think to myself, I guess that's better than you going out and covering Church League 16-inch softball for the summer, right?
Well, it depends. And that's always my boss's joke that, okay, baseball, softball's in the books. Are we doing like tiddlywinks? What are we doing this summer? What do you got in the paper?
Why do we have you employed, Tim? That's what your boss says?
Right, exactly. I gotta prove, my worth every summer. And that's kind of the standard joke. Like, if you go and run 12 back-to-back marathons in February, I'm not that interested. There's a lot going on. in the summer, if your 4-year-old hits a ball over your backyard fence, there's a good chance I'll write a story about it. Like it's anything and everything is a story in the summer. And I joke, of course, there's always something going on. It's just digging a little bit more than usual to find it, catching up with some kids in college or locally in high school, what they're up to. But yeah, it's a bit of a refocus in the summer because it is more work to find stories than, August through May when you can throw a rock and find a story at some high school, at some football field, some basketball court. So yeah, it's a different kind of busy.
I would imagine your baseball coverage got extended. We haven't talked since it happened, but Brother Ice made a run, man. They came close this year.
It was kind of surprising to see because the potential was there all year for the Crusaders, and they had a small but talented senior class and then just a ton of underclassmen that played well, took some lumps, and all of a sudden they caught fire at the perfect time. The sophomores and the juniors kind of put that inexperience behind them. The seniors put the team on their back, and yeah, they came real close to, pulling off that state title. It was just you had a good feeling where it's like, okay, they just got to rally, couple runs here, and they couldn't quite get it done, but it was a heck of a run for that team, especially just considering kind of the ups and downs they battled all spring for sure.
I get the feeling that covering that program, that their baseball program, and also some other programs around the South Side, that it almost starts to feel like you're covering college or even pro sports. I mean, I look at what they do with their social media, just Rice as an example, but some of the other schools do it as well. And they've got guys putting together video packages that are better than what the White Sox put together.
Well, that's the funny thing. I was at Max Struess's basketball camp earlier today, and they were all like, "Oh, you want to talk to Max?" I was like, "No, I want to talk to your video guy because he was a Brother Rice grad, and he's at Mizzou now, and he's killing it, putting these video packages together." And that's kind of the thing. Like, you talk to these kids, and they've been interviewed on the travel circuit, locally, Southtown, Sun-Times, all the local media outlets. So, yeah, you look at programs that across the different sports, Brother Rice baseball, Marist softball, Mother McCauley and Marist volleyball, basically all my football teams locally, Mount Carmel, St. Rita, Rice, all the usual suspects. These kids know what they're doing, and they've got kind of a backing of, social media. They bring their A game with this stuff. So, it's got kind of a college feel to it. And that's kind of where things have trended in recent years with just people love their high school sports coverage, and, that's part of the fun of what I get to do.
Were you out at Papa Hops this past weekend?
I was. I was turning into Tom Skilling all week, trying to predict that weather forecast because it did not look like they were going to be able to get the tournament in, and the weather cooperated for about 90% of the tournament, and then the championship got rained out. So they're depending on when this is going,
It'll be
championship.
I believe Wednesday night was the championship. This comes out on Thursday morning. So the champion's been crowned by the time that people hear you.
For sure.
It sounds to me like what I heard, and I've only heard it through the grapevine because, I'm out everywhere and I chat with everybody on the South Side, that they had some issue with the power. And then right after the power went out, the rain hit. So it was almost like perfect timing because they were going to have a problem continuing the game anyway. And then they got hit with a rainstorm. Now, that might not be true. I mean, you never know. You hear things on the South Side. There's 15 million rumors about 15 million things. But I am glad that they were able to get in the majority of it because it's such a big event. And, I was out at it last year, and they were nice enough to have me announce the final game for them last season. And it's just such a fun event. So many people are out there, and such a big thing in the community. What was it? Was it bigger and better this year than it was last year? Because it seems to me like it gets bigger every year.
It's one of those events that everyone in the south side of Chicago, oh, yeah, there's a 16-inch tournament up at St. Christina or Beverly or Mount Greenwood, whatever. This is one that I always enjoy going up to. There's some energy there. It's got a party atmosphere because so many people are there rooting on their friends, their family. I used to play for this team. I always joke with Liam Hopkins, who helps run the tournament. He started the tournament in 2014. I said, okay, I'll trust you, ballpark it. How many people you think are out here today? And I didn't ask him last week because it felt like the weather impacted it a little bit. It wasn't as crazy a crowd as usual, but it was still a crowd. There's 2,500, 3,000 people at your local park cheering on your local 16-inch guys, which is always fun to see. I always recommend it. If people ask, like, hey, what about the Papa Hops? Just go out and check out some games. You don't have to stay for the championship, but there's some energy. These guys are, it's 16-inch softball, but these guys are freakish athletes. Like, they know what they're doing. Like, it is high-level stuff, and these guys want to win this tournament. That's why there was a big debate on getting it in or postponing it. Do we wait it out? These guys, this is a big thing for them as much as anybody, and in the process, they raise a ton of money for helping local families who've been impacted by cancer, helping local youth sports. I mean, you can't miss. This is good stuff on all levels. So the Tom Hopkins Foundation and the Hopkins family does a really good job with it.
Tim O'Brien writes for the Beverly Review. He's always looking for stories in the summertime. If I would have known it, Tim, that you were looking for these stories, I would have reached out to you after I walked it off in the family wiffle ball game in extra innings on the 4th of July.
See, we're talking like I got to call the printer and tell them to stop. Like, we got to redo the cover on that because that's above the fold, story number 1, art, linking online with your video. Like, any story is a good story this time of year. So, next time, think of me first.
Awesome. Check out Tim at the Beverly Review. And thanks so much, my friend. We'll talk to you when football season comes around.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, Chris. I appreciate you having me on as always.
It is now time for your Southside Pod Bulletin Board, brought to you by the brand new Spoke and Vine Wine Bar and Bottle Shop, northeast corner of 95th and Kedzie. A 21 and over experience, an incredible selection of wines, and some great food there as well. See more at spokeandvinewines.com. This weekend, big stuff going on at the breweries in Tinley Park. Saturday, the 22nd, Sound Growlers having their anniversary. A ticketed event with live music, rain or shine. $20 a piece, and you get to see Wraith, Coke Goat, Choke Setter, These Beasts, and Bongzilla. I'm a big Bongzilla fan from back in the day. Sound Growlers turning 6. They're going to have an artisan market set up there as well. Drink some beer, check out some tents with some artists, and of course, have a delicious taco. On Sunday in Tinley, the Flurry of Makers Artisan Market returns to Hailstorm Brewing. I love Hailstorm Brewing in Tinley Park. Indoor, outdoor, all kinds of artisan crafts. This is a big, giant beer hall with a scratch-made kitchen with some amazing food. Those wings have already been featured on Chicago's Best. They have one of the best selections a tap room will give you in any brewery in the Chicago area. And you're going to see me there. Look for me and anybody else from Southside Pod milling about at the event. It kicks off at 11 a.m. and goes until 5. Sound Growler on Saturday, Hailstorm on Sunday. Then just mark it down on your calendar that next week on the 29th, the Summer Ween Market at Sound Growler. Yes, they're back at Sound Growler. Summer, Halloween, taco, artist, beer. Noon until 5, going to be a great event. Tinley's breweries are on fire. I don't know if you've noticed, they got a trolley now that takes you to all the different breweries in Tinley Park. I think we're going to have to ride that trolley on Southside Pod. Meanwhile, around the rest of the Southside, Payless has an outdoor concert that's free. Ron Flying Fingers Stetta playing guitar over at the Payless Heights Senior Living. 7 until 9 p.m. on Friday night. Also on Friday night, 10 p.m. until midnight, TNT and AC/DC tribute at 115 Bourbon Street in Marionette Park. On Saturday, you may have missed it on the last episode, go back and listen to Father Tom Hurley talk all about Southside Summerfest at Marist Stadium. Freddie Jones Band is the headliner, but several acts out there, gonna be a blast. Also on Saturday, kicking off at 9:30, 65 North Pickers are playing Heart Saloon in Evergreen Park, right around 99th and Western. And out in Lamont, Mel and Tom descend upon Matt's Barbecue once again. We talked barbecue at the beginning of the show. As we get to the end of the show, I'm really thinking about some barbecue. Matt's one of the best places. Get out to Lamont, check that out. Our last segment here on Southside Pod brought to you proudly by SidSauce.net, hot sauces that you can find at one of these artisan markets that I mentioned. Tinley, again, Sound Growler, Hailstorm blowing up this weekend. That's where I found Sid Sauce, the only hot sauce I use now. Peppers grown on the south side, the sauce is made here, and pretty much all of you can get it delivered for free to your door. Check out everything they have to offer at SidSauce.net. Now let's get to Cork and Kerry and Beverly and have a beer.
A pitcher of beer, a pitcher of beer. Let's order another pitcher of beer. That pitcher of beer should come over
I'm at Cork and Kerry, and we're outside on the patio. I love the fact we can do this. I love the summer.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Kramer's with me. How are you, buddy?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
How are we feeling?
I'm doing better.
Good.
I'm doing
Good.
better. I know you know that I hurt myself. I was down and out. I was laying on my back. I had to drink all my beer from a laying prone position for about the month of June. But I'm back for July, and I'm ready to make up for lost time.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah.
This is a happening place on the weekends, I know for sure.
Oh, yeah.
You get a good crowd out here.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, good mixture, young and old. And, you know, the old go and the young come there's like a witching point, and then, you know, everything's
I've seen
good.
that before.
Yeah.
I've been here on nights when it's like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Like, I've been here, and I've been hanging out, and I got the older crowd, and I'm on the patio, and then all of a sudden, like, I got younger cousins that are, like, in their 20s.
Oh, yeah.
And my
21.
young, yeah.
21.
Oh, no, I'm
21.
saying he's older
Yeah.
20s. He's a
Yeah.
fireman, so
Okay.
trust me. He's
Yeah.
an adult, okay?
Yeah.
And he comes walking in. And I'm like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
He's like, what are you doing here,
Yeah.
old man? Like,
Right.
it kind of changes a little bit
Right.
as the night goes on.
Well, you know what? As I get older, too, I always make fun of my friends because, you know, they're always like, it's so young in there at a certain hour. And it's like, you know, we were doing the same things.
Yeah.
You know, like, God bless the youth. Like, just because we're not there anymore, hey, it's...
I'm
everyone,
jealous
you know?
of him. I want to hang
Exactly.
out with him, except I look like the old guy.
Yeah, right?
See, that's the biggest problem, I think, with being older, is that, like, I have the heart
Yeah.
of a young person.
Oh, yeah, so do I.
I
Obviously,
want to hang
yeah.
out with the young people.
Absolutely,
I want
yeah.
my wife to go home so I can talk to the 25-year-old girls, but she'll kill me for doing it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's why you should have just stayed single like me. But, you know, it's like, I mean, just between the people you meet with the work and stuff like that, you know, I have a nice group of younger friends and older friends, you know, but, you know, it's what you make of it. But as long as everyone's having fun, you know, let's keep doing it.
There you
know?
go.
So,
And is this where you pull up the food trucks?
yeah, so directly in the back, they set up, we have a big fence, and the food trucks come directly. We open them up, and the food trucks just park right in the alley. And they come in. This week we're having Smiling Clydes. So not quite a truck, but it's a hot dog vendor. He's good, you know. And
I've
he's
had Smiling Clydes. It's
he's
good.
he's a Mount Carmel guy. So, you know, our owners like taking care of their own. So
That's
know.
awesome. What do you got going on this weekend here?
We actually have a good band coming in from Florida, of all places, too. They're called the Backcountry Boys. They're out of that Ave Maria area in Florida.
Will they play out here or inside?
Yeah, they're going to be playing right as we're showing the CK.
Underneath the big CK.
Yeah. As small of an area it is, we've had full 5-6 member bands.
By the way,
there,
can I
yeah.
tell the secret behind the CK?
Go
Because
on
I love
ahead.
it. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
So it says CK, and you're like, Cork and Kerry. No, that's the CK at the end of an old Dominic sign,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yep,
You
yep.
guys, like, Dominic's went out of business. You're like, we're going to take the C and the K
Yeah,
from a Dominic
yeah,
sign on the
yeah,
side, and we're going to put it
absolutely.
up there.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. We tried to take the red paint off and make it maybe like a nice orange and green, but it's a little harder than you expected.
No, I love
so.
it this way because
Yeah, it looks
if you
great,
know the
yeah.
secret,
Yeah.
you're like, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's what Dominic. That's the last of the Dominic signs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the band, they're from Florida, and it's all like 20, 21-year-old kids. And so
playing country music from Florida.
Yeah, they covers. They got some of their own
Yeah,
stuff.
those guys
and-
are gonna have a blast.
Yeah,
Imagine
they-
being 20 or 21,
Yeah.
going to a different state, showing up and playing a bar like Cork and Kerry.
Well, their dad, I think it's a singer's dad, is Kevin Joyce, who
Okay.
used to be our alderman.
Yeah.
And the Joyce family, you know, everyone knows one of them from around here. And so now they're out in Florida. They come in for like 6 weeks in the summer, and they get lined with good gigs like Bub City, places like that downtown. And then we have them once a summer too. So it's always a good turnout, and they're very good.
That's
which
awesome.
is, you know, more importantly, I mean,
I want to live there.
I don't want to promote, you know, bad music. So, you know, yeah, they're pretty good. They're very good. So.
All right, so what's bugging you these days? I know
I
there's
got two
that-
things.
Things get under your skin. I know it's 16-inch softball season. You got angry about that last
Yeah,
year. Is
you
that
know
what you're going to do?
Yeah, but you know, Papa Hops was last week, so
Okay.
you know,
You're
that's-
okay.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah.
All right.
But I did just come back from Minnesota, and I think airlines need to adjust some things.
What?
All right. So, you know, right in the middle of the plane is the emergency exits.
Yeah.
I strive to get the emergency exit seats because I'm 6'4" and I need more leg room.
Right.
But then the flight attendant, you know, sir, like, you know, your responsibility is by taking these seats. And my buddy of mine was telling me a story, like his dad said, oh, I can't do that. Like, because you're supposed to help everyone out and you're like supposed to be the last ones out.
Like, I'm sorry, if I'm sitting in the emergency exit, see ya, I'm gone.
Oh, no. I'm going to open the window.
Lie.
I'm going to open the door, right?
But I'm number one.
And I'm going to make sure my kids get out if they're with me, right?
Okay, I don't have that problem.
I'm going to get my kids out.
Yeah.
But other than that, I'm going to be like, hey, exit's open.
Right.
And I'm going to dive out of the exit.
I'm first. I'll see you down there, you know? But then also, like you saw how you mentioned your kids, then on the flight back, like they were doing, I don't know, it was either those little ass rafts that's never going to fit around my neck,
right,
or the oxygen mask. And a woman, I was around, everyone's older, and I'm around this woman, and the flight attendant's like, you know, you have to, children first. I'm like, yeah, so this kid I don't know, I'm going to give him a raft before me? Like, no, I'm out of here, man. You know, like, you know, I'm sorry, kid. See ya. Get out of my way.
I don't think he's your responsibility, though. He's somebody else's child.
Well, yeah, but what if you got like 4 kids? I think like then they want everyone to help out.
They want you to help some stranger's kids?
That's what they told me. They said, you know what, children first. You know, I'm like, well, first off, like, let's not talk about this situation.
You know what you do? Immediately when that happens, you're like, I was already eating the peanuts. You don't have an allergy, do you? Like, well, maybe somebody else could put that on you.
If there is a real problem, I don't think they're going to reprimand me afterwards. Like, they're
not going to reprimand you. If you have to use those little things that go around your neck, you're all dead anyway.
Right, exactly.
You're all dead
So it's
anyway.
like, you know, I understand, like, you got to do the hand signals, but, you know, I'm out of here, guys. If I can get out of here, I'm out of here.
Right,
you know,
so you got some issues with planes?
Planes, and seatbelts. Like, when you're up there, you're up there. Like, what is this belt doing for?
What if you hit turbulence? You don't want to hit your head off the ceiling.
I guess. You know, I mean, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think they're kind of pointless if you ask me. And you always you actually do always hit turbulence at some point.
You do.
Like the guys, the pilot comes on or the flight attendant, we're going to hit a little turbulence. And it's always like 45 minutes before you're actually about to land.
Right.
You know, but okay, I'll give you that. My second.
You ever in the bathroom when the turbulence hits?
No.
Ooh, that's a thing. That's a thing. I've been there.
I'm sure it is.
I've been there.
You know, and so my second gripe, and it's been bothering me for a while, and I don't even know what the point of them are, but it just hit me today, bumper stickers. Like, what a...
You don't like bumper stickers?
No, it's a complete joke. Like, and me and my buddy who's actually here right now, we used to send pictures all the time, 13.1 and the 26.2 ones.
Oh, I hate those.
Like, especially the 13 ones, it's like, congrats on doing half the job. And even on top, no one likes a bragger, even if you are a 26.2. Like running's not good for you. So it's like, what are you doing, man? You know? And then on top, my proud parent of, Sutherland honors student, it's like, all right, so I get rear-ended, and this guy comes in yelling at me. He's at fault technically, but the guy in front of me, I'm reading his bumper sticker. I'm reading about how little Susie's a proud Sutherland honor student, like, and this guy's rear-ending me from behind. It's like, no, that's not fair. Like, or like ones where they have like the stick people of how many kids are in their family. Like, it's like mom, dad, and then they have 3 other. Like, why do you think I care? Or baby on board? Like, I hope why are you letting me know this? Like, just to be more careful.
You know, I think you just don't like other people's children. You don't care if they drown. You're not going to help them get out the emergency exit. You don't want to see their stick figures on the back of cars, and you don't give a crap whether or not they're an honor student. I think the theme of both of your problems in the air or in a car is all pretty much the same. You don't want to deal with their children.
Did I tell you I just became an uncle 2 weeks ago, too?
oh, what a lucky kid.
It's the Southside! It's the Southside! It's Southside Pod! Thanks for listening! Thanks for tuning in to the Southside Pod! Y'all come back now, you hear?